Two men are behind bars after a 23-year-old woman was fatally shot. At around 4:35 a.m. on Friday the 12th of May, authorities responded to a parking lot outside the Suz Lounge nightclub, located at 3253 Deansbridge Road in Augusta, Georgia, on reports of an assault. When officers arrived at the scene, they found 23-year-old Michaela Perkins of Grovetown with at least one gunshot wound. She was transported to the Augusta University Medical Center in a critical condition, where she succumbed to her injuries at 6:33 a.m. Later that afternoon, authorities arrested 39-year-old Julius Morris III and 29-year-old Raheem Carter for murder and multiple firearm offences in relation to the incident. They're both held at the Richmond County Jail without bond. A motive of the attack has not been released. On her Facebook page, Michaela identified herself as a certified lash technician. A man is wanted by police for allegedly wounding his ex-girlfriend and murdering her brother. At 6:30 a.m. on the 12th of May, authorities responded to a residence at 1028 Park Street in Blair, Nebraska on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived at the scene, they found an unresponsive man and an injured woman who was shot inside the home. Authorities said that 22-year-old Elijah Logan entered the home by kicking it in. He then shot his ex-girlfriend Sam Ely in both the legs and shot her brother Jordan Ely before fleeing the scene in his green 1988 Jeep Cherokee. Officers rendered first aid to Sam until medics arrived and then transported her to a local hospital and is reportedly recovering well. Jordan was pronounced dead at the scene. Blair Police Chief Joe Larger said that this is a case of a relationship gone bad, and Elijah was mad and he drove to the residence with the intention of killing people inside. Jordan's family said that he died a hero trying to protect his sister Sam and his baby nephew from gunfire. Elijah is reportedly the father of the infant. The boy was found unharmed at the scene. Elijah is from Council Bluffs in Iowa and has a history of domestic violence. He was in court in Potawatomi County as recently as Tuesday the 9th of May on allegations of choking his mother last month after she confronted him about fighting his ex-girlfriend. He posted bond later that day and was expected to be back in court in June. Elijah remains on the run from authorities as the investigation into the matter continues. 24-year-old Asia Calabrese Lewis is behind bars and is accused of drowning her 1-year-old daughter Nirvana Oliver in a retention pond near her home. At around 6:12 p.m. on Thursday the 11th of May, Asia was seen on surveillance video walking with Nirvana along Concourse Parkway in Sandy Springs, Georgia, down an embankment and through some bushes towards a retention pond. The video then shows the pair walking into the water before going out of view of the camera for about 6 minutes, before she's seen on the same video about 6:18 p.m, exiting the pond alone without any clothes and walking towards the parking decks across the street. At 6:39 p.m, authorities responded to the scene on a report of a woman acting in a disturbing manner. When officers arrived, they found Asia naked and rubbing up against cars in the parking deck, having some sort of episode. The father of the child, Kenneth Oliver, arrived and asked Asia where the child was when she replied at the bottom of the pool. Sandy Springs police and firefighters immediately started checking all pools and body of water in the area. Nirvana was eventually found face down and not breathing in a retention pond. She was rushed to Scottish Rite Hospital in Atlanta, where she was pronounced dead. Sergeant Mac McGuinness of the Sandy Springs Police Department said this was not an accident. Police said that the father was completely distraught and has not been charged. The family reportedly lives diagonally across the road from the pond at the Bishop Apartments. Nirvana's aunt Kelsey Oliver said her niece was loved and very well taken care of. "My brother is the best dad and he loved her with every ounce in his body." Asia was arrested and charged with cruelty to children, first-degree and felony murder, and is held without bond. 22-year-old Harold Thompson is behind bars for allegedly fatally shooting his girlfriend because he was upset she had an abortion. At around 7:40 a.m. on Wednesday the 10th of May, authorities responded to reports of shots fired in the 800 block of South Walton Walker Boulevard in Dallas, Texas. When officers arrived, they found 26-year-old Gabriela Gonzalez on the ground at a Shell gas station parking lot, in a critical condition suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Medics rushed to the scene and attempted life-saving measures, however she succumbed to her injuries. Authorities said that surveillance video captured Harold trying to put Gabriela in a chokehold. The couple had reportedly been arguing about an abortion Gabriela had in Colorado. Harold was the father of the child and opposed the procedure. Gabriela managed to shrug off Harold's hold on her and she ran away. He then pulled out a firearm and shot her once in the head. After she fell to the ground, he continued shooting her before fleeing the scene. The next day, Harold was arrested and charged with murder. He's held at the Dallas County Jail without bond. Authorities said that a separate arrest warrant for Harold issued in March was still active at the time of the shooting. Harold reportedly beat Gabriella while she was pregnant with his child several times throughout their relationship, including trying to strangle her and leaving her with a black eye. Gabriella said that Harold violently attacked her and left her bruised up, and she remained very fearful of him. She was scared of Harold because he had made threats to harm her family and her children. She has kids from a different relationship, and he's very jealous of her ex-boyfriend. Gabriella's sister Melanie Rubio was a witness to the shooting. She said that he was so angry that she wanted to get away from him. I knew she wasn't okay, but we couldn't get help. We didn't know how to. Gabriella's family said that she had just ended a tumultuous 4-month relationship with Harold when the shooting occurred. The investigation into the matter continues. An investigation is underway after a woman who police described as an innocent bystander was fatally shot over the weekend. The incident occurred at just before 1 a.m. on Saturday the 13th of May, outside an apartment complex at 643 South 7th Street in Nashville, Tennessee. According to authorities, 53-year-old Leather Hayes was hit by gunfire after individuals inside an SUV started shooting at 2 men nearby. Leather died at the scene. Officials said a man arrived at a hospital later that morning with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. Police believe the man was one of the intended targets in the shooting, but he has been uncooperative with law enforcement. Detectives from the homicide unit are working to identify the person or people involved in the shooting. No further information has been released about the incident. Police are looking for a person responsible for fatally shooting a man outside a 7-Eleven store over the weekend. At just after 1 a.m. on Saturday the 13th of May, authorities responded to reports of a Chevy Aspen that crashed into a 7-Eleven store located at 15553 East Mississippi Avenue in Aurora, Colorado. When officers arrived at the scene, they found a deceased man laying on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound laying next to the SUV. The victim was identified as 27-year-old Javon Jacobs. Police currently have no suspect information or a motive in the shooting, as the investigation into the matter continues.